Come on guys, let's learn about SSH, SCP and sudoers file today. For that I will switch to the root user first. Then here I will create a new user using add user command. This is to learn about SSH more on this particular user. So add user and the username I can just give the dummy user. Then I can give a password here and retype that password. Then you can fill all these details. Then press Y. Now the new user is created. Let's switch the user to the newly created user, that is dummy user, SU dummy. Then let's go to the home directory using cd home directory, and if I do pwd now, I am in home/dummy user. Now I have to create a .ssh folder here. First check whether that folder exists or not. For that can run a command ls-e because .sh is a hidden folder. .ssh folder is not there, so create that folder using mkdir .ssh. Then let's modify the permission for that. chmod 700 .ssh. So now if I run ls-a, .sh folder is there, and if I run ls-la .ssh and the permission is 700, and this is the directory, that is why first character is D. Now let's change the directory to .ssh, and if I run ls-a now, there is no file or directory here. Now let's create SSH keys. For that I have the command SSH keygen, then -t means type RSA, then -b means number of bits. I can give 4096. If I run this, it will start generating the SSH key. So let's give the path. I will give it as home/dummy. I will keep this folder only. If I want to change the file path, I can give the file path here. Otherwise it will take this file path only. Then the passphrase I can give empty. Now the SSH keys should be generated. Now if I run ls-a now, you can see idRSA and idRSA.pub is generated. So .pub means public key and this one is the private key. Now from local I want to log into this dummy user using SSH key. I have to add public key of my local user to this dummy user authorized keys. Let's see that process now. In my local, if I go to users and my username and .ssh folder, there will be two keys, idRSA and idRSA pub. I have to copy this public key to my dummy user now. So let's open that. So this is the public key. I have to copy this key now. In your case, for your user, if .sh folder and these keys are not exist, you have to run ssh-keygen command in your local also. Then this key pair is generated. In my case, key pair is already generated, so I can just copy my public key to my dummy user. Let's copy this. Then in dummy user.sh folder, I have to create a file called as authorized keys. So create vi authorized keys, then paste that key. Then escape wq to save this file. Now the authorized file is created. Let's change the permission for that. chmod 600 and authorized keys. Now if I run ls-la for authorized key, permission is 600. Now from my local I should be able to log into this dummy user using the SSH key. Let's check out that now. Let's create a new window here. Now I am in my local now. Let's do a SSH login to my dummy user. For that I have the command called as SSH and the username dummy, then the server name or server host name or the IP address. This is the EC2 instance. This is my host name. Let's copy that and paste that here. And if you have the private key or .pem file, then you have to give the -i and the private key file name or file path here. If I don't add -i flag and don't give any file path, that means it will assume that the private key will be the idRSA file from the .sh folder. Let's run this now. I'm able to log into this particular server as a dummy user using the SSH key. This is how SSH login works. Now to switch to the root user, I can run sudo su-. It asks for the password now. If I enter my password, here you can see I got an error like dummy is not in the sudoers file. This means dummy user can't run sudo commands. To give the sudo access, we have to add an entry to the sudoers file. Let's do that now. For that, I will exit from the dummy user now. Now I'm in root user. For that, I have to edit a file called as etc sudoers. Here I have to add an entry for dummy user, and I'm going to give all the access. And when I run sudo command, it should not ask for the password. That's why I have added no password here. Now let's save this file using :wq and exclamatory mark. Exclamatory mark because it is a read-only file, and to override that I have to give that mark. Now let's switch to the dummy user and check whether my sudo access is working or not. Now I have logged in as dummy user. Now if I run sudo su -, I have logged in as root user now. So sudo is working now. So that is about sudo access and sudoers file. Then if you want to modify the SSH related security configuration, then you have to modify this file called as etc ssh sssht underscore config file. Let's modify that now. Here I can modify a lot of security related configurations, like for example password authentication. Yes, if I want to mandate the SSH login and I don't want the user to log in using password, then I can uncomment this, and password authentication I can give as no. That is one of the best practice actually. Users should log in using SSH key instead of their password. Similarly, if I don't want to permit empty password, then I can give as no and uncomment this particular command. If you want to change the port of SSH, for example, by default SSH port is 22, and if you want to change this port, I can modify here. Similarly, permit root login and other things. So like this, you can modify the security configuration in this particular file. And if you modify this file, it will not take effort until and unless you run systemctl restart SSH. So you have to restart the SSH service once you modify this SSH config file. So now let's check out SCP. Using SCP, you can copy the file between two different servers. Now I have login as dummy user and I am in home/dummy folder, and I don't have any files here. Now I want to copy a file from my local to my dummy user. For that, I can use the command scp, then the file name, that is readme.md, then similar to SSH, the username dummy at and the server name, then the colon, then the path to be the home folder of this particular dummy user. If I run this now, it will start copying that particular file actually. The file should be copied to the home folder of dummy user. Now let's check that now. If I switch to the other window and if I do ls now, the readme.md file is there now. This is how you can copy the file from local to your server. Similarly, if I want to copy this source folder, instead of this readme.md file, I have to give the src folder, and also for folder I have to give the -r. Recursive means all the folder and files inside this src folder will be copied. Now if I run this command, src folder should be copied now. If I switch to this now and if I run ls, src folder is there now. Now let's create a file here and copy that file to my local. Let's create a file, test file, and add some dummy content and :wq to save this file. Like cp command, in scp command also first will be the source location, then the destination location. Now if I want to copy from server to here, first I have to give this server location. SCP, the source path, that is test file, inside this my home folder. Then I want to copy this to this particular location, that is current directory. So I will give dot. And if I run this now, file is copied now. If I run ls now, the test file is copied from my server to my local now. So that's how SCP command works. So that's it for today. Subscribe and check out other videos too.